As soon as you
Live from the Pines, episode 100. We are back. Texas high school football is here. We started off with scrimmages last week. Season has started now. It's a great time to be in the state of Texas. How are you doing, sir?
Man, I'm happy to be here. I'm glad we on.
Man, it's great to have you back, Coach Hill. You know, we brought you on last year, built a relationship out of it, had you back on again. And we got to go down to College Station together this year and spend some time with the 77 qualifier. I mean, 77 state championship. Now we're here. It's game week. The Wolves are ready.
Yeah, man, we made it. We made it.
So, Coach Hill, will you go ahead and do a little introduction, talk about yourself a little bit? You know, I've had you on here before, but, you know, to the new followers and members of Live from the Pines, you know, go ahead and let them know who you are.
Absolutely. My name is Malcom Hill. I'm head coach and athletic coordinator here at Weiss High School. I'm entering my second year. I'm excited to be here from the North Dallas area. Spent some time in Frisco, and my last stop was in Prosper. So I just want to shout out to those guys in Frisco. Shout out to the people in Prosper for allowing me the opportunity to coach their kids and be a part of their school. That has led me to Pflugerville Weiss, and I'm just extremely blessed and honored to work with these kids, work for these kids, and with the coaches that I've been blessed to coach with. It's been a great time. Last year was awesome. This year will be better.
So, talk a little bit about your time at Prosper and where that, you know, how that molded you to the head coach you are now.
No doubt. Shout out to the guy Tyler Moore, man. I think he's honestly one of the coolest cats out. I probably wouldn't tell him to his face, but he's taught me a lot. I got to be underneath him while he was going through his first year as a head coach, his first and second year, just so to see his growth from year to year and just seeing him figure it out. It was really cool, front row seat to do that. And the principal there was Nick Jones, but the principal now is Miss Paige Trujillo, and she's a real one. She's pro athletics. She understands the vision, and with athletics plays a part in education. And so I just learned a lot, and I just can't thank them enough for having me. I'm just excited to be here now.
Yeah, talk a little bit about, you know, you talk about administration. How important is it to have good administration for a successful athletic department?
They got to be on board. I mean, there's obviously admin wants to do their job in the building as far as getting kids in class and education. And then it's our job as coaches to make sure that that vision is carried out, but also on the field or on the court, that we are putting a product that is worth being proud of, I should say, in the process that we take. So we take athletics very seriously here. A lot of our programs have been successful, and now we're a part of an A-rated campus, which our principal, Miss Amika Hunt, has taken this place from a D to a B, and then this past year we just got rated an A. And so now you can get the best of both worlds, whether that be athletics and education, but also now you get a quality experience for everybody involved.
Yeah, so, you know, you being a young coach, how old are you?
33. We up
33
there.
years old. What is it? What do you think was going through Pflugerville ISD's mind when they took a chance on a 33 or 32, 31-year-old at the time?
Oh man, look, they have a choice. They said, "Oh, I guess we got to give it to this guy." No, honestly, it was late in the game. I understand. I wasn't the first pick. That doesn't bother me. I always tell our kids it's okay to be a rebound. Rebounds are stats too. You know, it was just timing. You know, I believe in God's timing for everybody and His plan over mine. I wanted to be a head coach really bad because I just love pouring into kids and seeing what relationship driven coaching can do. And so we had an opportunity to come out here, and I kid you not, prayed, fasted on it, and the people that I've met along this journey, obviously one of my brothers, our DC, Cam Devereaux, and our OC, John Ross, who I will continue to sing his praises, even more so now than ever. He's legit. He's a legit guy. He's from this area. He has done tremendous work for this program, and those two are definitely head coaches in the making.
Yeah, no doubt. And like you said, you got your brother over there. It makes it a lot easier when you got people on staff that you can trust.
No doubt, no doubt. I think that's first and foremost the thing I would give any advice to any coach, man. You got to have people that you can trust that have done it with you. It's very hard to hire people that you haven't done it with, although circumstances may lead to that, and I've had to do that as well. But at least I had one, and then one turned into two, two turned into three, and there's a lot of coaches on staff that we are all walking in alignment and have the same vision. So I will never complain about that.
Talk about your staff. We're going to keep talking about it. How important is it to have a staff that's bought into the same mission you're bought in? Wanting to achieve the same goals you're wanting to achieve. Making sure that nobody's taking a day off. Everybody's coaching their kids hard and doing the little things right to play in December.
Yeah, our staff, we had to do a lot of reflecting. We took one on the chin in the third round last year against Barbers Hill, and they, like I said, they did a lot of great things defensively and offensively. But as I will always preach, like players win games, coaches lose games, and that was a good time to reflect. We were a staff that got thrown together, that grew together, learned together, and now when we get time in the offseason, how can we be better for these kids moving forward? And it's not just in the wins and losses. I am fully invested in making sure that there are kids that want to run through walls for the coaches they are coached by. And I will hire a coach in a heartbeat who will have a heart for kids. And when that kid speaks about him, that kid gets emotional. And when that coach speaks about that kid, that coach gets emotional. And we just a staff and a team that's just running through walls for one another. And I think that's what's going to separate us this year. And even it helped us last year as late as we got hired.
No doubt. So, 2025 season, you learned a lot, you achieved a lot, made the playoffs for the first time in school history, correct?
Uh, Went to the third round, first time in school
First team to
history.
go third round. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're
Yep.
right. I'm not going to cut Pflugerville Weiss short.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't nobody yelling at me, mad at me. Shout out to
Yeah.
all the people that came before. But yeah, we third round for the first time
So
last
there's
year.
two things I want to talk about last year. There's a few things, actually.
Yeah.
The Consol game
Okay.
and the College Station game. How did that mold y'all and get y'all prepared for the playoffs?
Obviously, when you play really good teams, teams that are consistently making playoff runs, who have won state, and you see them do it, and you're in games like that, and you're competing, it teaches you a lot. One, that you have the ability and you have the team that can play at a high level, but also two, you can see the discrepancies in our team and theirs, and it has nothing to do with talent. It has everything to do with one, probably belief, two, being there, and three, ultimately just an intentional focus down down the stretch, not taking plays off and just being intentional with what we do and how we do it well before Friday. And so that's something that we've been preaching is
Monday through
preparation.
Wednesday.
Absolutely. Like you have to be intentional on those days, and you got to be able to walk in excellence, uh, not perfection, but excellence in everything that you do. And so just trying to teach these kids that, but also just teaching myself that every day and holding myself to that standard.
No doubt. Now the game that nobody, really thought Weiss could win, Laporte game. Going into the Laporte game, nobody really thought Weiss was the real. I'm not gonna say anything you are the real deal, but nobody had Weiss winning that football game. Everybody thought Laporte was gonna show up and run the ball, and Weiss couldn't play with him. And you go back and watch that game. In the first half, that game could have went. Could have went a lot of ways. And then you go to the second half. What changed for you guys?
Well, honestly, it when you go down by 21, it's a legit shock. Like everybody's like, "Oh my God, what is happening?" You don't really understand, and Like, shout out to Laporte. The stadium is beautiful. So when they scored that first touchdown and the lights start blinking and the fans are going crazy, and you're like, oh my goodness, like this is a production. And you kind of get engulfed in just the things that don't matter. And so going down, we reset in at halftime. Our DC probably gave one of his best speeches that he's ever given, and our kids were just
Wait,
really
wait, wait, wait.
more so.
What was it kind of like?
I just think it was like just
Was it a
don't give
Tolly
up on me.
special?
It's one of those where you're not acting right, for lack of a better words, and don't give up on me. Um, and when you hear like things like that, and kids can respond to that, it's not about you. It's not about that we're down 21. Just don't give up. Don't give if you don't want to give up on anybody, don't give up on me. We've only known each other for so long, but the deposits that we made have been so strong. Like, let's not give up now. And if we would have lost that game, again, I don't think it would have disrupted anything, but it has, and I would be remiss to say like it has definitely helped us. The buy-in that we got from the kids and that we're getting from the kids now, night and day, because they saw it work. A lot of people, faith without works is dead, and you got to trust in the things that you can't see. I'm just thankful that God allowed us to see that, because down 21, I kid you not, I was like, okay, we got a lot of work to do. This can only happen one play at a time, and I'm glad like that one play at a time started to work out for our good.
No doubt. That was a huge game. I sat at the
It
house and
was.
watched it. I watched on the back patio actually because it meant a lot for us because that game dictated our second round game. And we're not
Oh
going to
yeah.
talk about that second round game. We're going to go on to the third round game. You
Uh,
know, looking at that third round game, after I watched you guys play in person, there was no doubt that I thought, Barbers Hill couldn't stop you. Like
yeah.
I thought that y'all had all the weapons, which you do. You still have some of those weapons. You're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
you're gonna be even better this year. But a question I want to ask, and it's one that I don't never write down questions. I don't prepare for these shows. I just come in and I just go straight to it. But a question I want to ask you: how did the Barbers Hill third round loss help you and grow as a head coach? And how did it shape the goals for your team going on into this off season?
There was a lot of things that happened in that game. Things that I would like to reflect on. I had to let out some tears myself. You just realize how long a season can be. Um, the people that are involved, the kids that you get to coach, the parents that are a part of everything that was leading up to the season and during the season. And so you have so much to be thankful for. And when it comes to an end, kids that have played for a long time, kids that didn't play at all, you just realize like it is just so weighty, the emotions of the season. And when you don't think you're going to win, or you do think you're going to win in the playoffs, everybody's good. It's at any moment. Like Laporte, there's no way you could have told me they thought their season was going to end round one, and then it's the same thing, and we're talking about the same breath in round three. You have confidence in your preparation, but what I really learned is kids really care about who we are as coaches and who they get to play with as brothers. And whenever that comes to an end, it like I'm telling you, it didn't matter. There wasn't a dry eye on our sideline, um, and it wasn't crying because it was over. It's like, wow, this is the end of a chapter with the people that I've done life with. And so, what I've learned is really just to cherish those moments, maximize moments like that, and never take a team for granted. Not that I took Barbershop for granted at all. I always think we're going to win games because of the preparation that we do. Um, but get the ball to our best players, complement each other on in the run game, take special teams serious, and just be more intentional. You're going to win games, you're going to lose games. However, if you're going to lose, make sure that team really beats you, and so you don't have to give it to them. And so my hat goes off to Coach Semper for Barbers Hill, and I think that's all I got to say about that. And I never want to talk about it again.
After that game, I'll wrap it up after this. But after that game, me and you talked the next day, and
Hmm.
you said something that stood out. You're never too good to go learn from somebody else.
Ever.
And one thing you made intentional for the off season, you said was, I want to go talk to guys that have been there before because it's going to help me in those situations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I mean, after the game, I called Coach Semper, I called the DC. I just asked questions. I mean, never gonna stop learning. And I'm learning for myself, I'm learning for these kids, I'm learning for the kids to come. I'm truly want to make sure that everybody is continuing to get better. And it's not just physically, it's a mental game that we have to get better at. And I want to put our kids in the best situation to have the best experience. Because I think, that situation, the whole season was super cool. I want those kids to feel that and do it again. And I want that to become the expectation here of, hey, we made the playoffs. Hey, we make deep runs. Hey, we can go to state championships. And that's what's exciting about it. When you get to have a season that is filled with expectation, but filled with, preparation and vulnerability of we're gonna put it all out there that this is our goal and we gotta find a way to get there.
No doubt. You said something that stood out right there. This is super cool.
Man,
How important is it? You know, Times have changed. When you played football in high school, when you were, coming up, when I was a kid, different times, football was a different game. Like people didn't play
oh,
football just because they wanted to be on the team. They played football because they love football. Like,
yeah,
I think somebody said something about South Lake Carroll a couple of years ago. It might have been last year. How kids don't, just play football to say they played for the Dragons. Like kids grow up wanting to be a Dragon. Like, you can be a 13 guy and you're still going to give it all you got Monday through Wednesday in practice because you're making your teammates better so we all can achieve one goal.
it's true.
And I think some coaches they get away from those things thinking that the kids are different nowadays. They want to have fun. They want to do what's
Absolutely.
cool. Media means everything. Music is everything to kids nowadays. You have to give a little bit to get what you want out of these kids.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think that just comes with anything. Once you're exposed to different things, whether it's information or understanding, like then you have to continue to not only adapt, but just make simple adjustments. And if I talk about like, hey, I tell these kids all the time, I work for you. I work for you. So if it's cool, I'm doing it for the kids. I don't, you could ask anybody here from any hype video, from any media, from any tweet, any post. This is truly about them and their experience. I'm going to be here. They got 4 years here. And I want those 4 years to mean the most. And I don't ever want them to forget about how important it is to be a Weiss Wolf because I want this to be the best and the most pure experience that they can ever have playing ball. Because when you go on to next levels, it's purely business. I love when kids come in and say, Coach, I genuinely enjoy being around you. If you came to our school and when school got out, there's gonna be there's gonna be kids looking for food in our coach's office, knocking at the door to get in, watching film, just hanging out, talking trash to each other, and we'll do that all day. I'm like, y'all gotta go home. I gotta get to work. I mean, the other day, I got a kid, KJ Washington, him and Zamar Pye, they come in and they just going through the fridge coach. I said, what y'all doing? Looking for food. And I was like, you know what? The fact that you that comfortable and then they sit down, they ain't find nothing, and then they would just kick it. Moments that they would probably look past that I'll never forget. Come in here. I got food in there. I didn't have none at the time, but I usually have snacks. Let's eat. Let's sit down. Let's hang out. Let's kick it. Let's not talk about football. Let's talk about football. Kids are different, but people are the same. Let's build these relationships. Let's make them feel like they're valued. And when people feel valued and they can contribute to what's greater, you can get the most out of them.
No doubt. And I think that's the big thing nowadays. Like, you know, kids are just like it's a different, I don't know, generation, like if back in the day, if kids didn't have to have music at practice. All they needed was a whistle and a coach. Nowadays, if you turn music on at practice, you might get a little bit more. You might get a little bit more on.
Absolutely. I mean, when you turn on your favorite song, you feel some type of way. Music is good for all emotions. And so if I like a certain song and my kids like a certain song and they want to start turning up, start dancing, then shoot, I'm gonna put on my dancing shoes and we start dancing. We'll do it all. Like I said, I believe in music at practice. I 100% believe it. And some people don't. However, that's how they feel. But if our kids say they want
We're gonna do it.
it, we will do it.
No
I
doubt.
mean, they don't get to run the whole thing, but it's music.
Yeah, no doubt.
Everybody loves music.
So, what are we? We're 2 sleeps from kickoff. 3 sleeps from
Man,
kickoff.
you know it.
What is the motto this year for the Weiss Wolves? Like, what's going through Weiss's head this year? Before you answer that, I need to ask a question.
Okay.
What was off season like this year? We get beat in the third round. What was it like?
Obviously was extremely different. Like it got to a point to where like our kids like started showing. Like we asked them to show up early, and we were lifting more than they probably ever lifted, but the response was good. After the season, they all made the track team. Shout out from our top guys to the bottom guy. It didn't matter. Track workouts, running track. Did they like it? No. But it was beneficial. It was good for our program to have success in other things other than football. That stuff shows up. I don't need you to be Usain Bolt. I need you to be the best individual who goes out here and competes on this track. When you compete in track, there's something in your stomach that you can't shake. When you get this, hey, you about to run this 4x4. All the responses across Texas gonna be the same. Oh, coach, what? People gonna try to find a way out. Some people find a way in. And then we end up taking a 4x1 to state, which was, I think, the first time in our school history, too. So our head coach, Coach John Ross, he takes track very serious. And so do we here. And it's just another layer of what we're building here and what we continue to strive for. But the offseason was great. We got faster, we got stronger. But like I tell you, we bonded closer than ever. They got to know us. We got here, we just started talking about football and plays, and now you get to see our day-to-day and who we really are. And that didn't change. It only got better for us.
No doubt. Track is important. We hear about it a lot in the DFW because, and even in Houston, because
Oh,
youth
yeah.
track is big. Kids are running track at a young age in the bigger cities. I'm sure they're doing the same thing in Austin.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing about track is you don't have to be the fastest kid on the track, but it teaches you to compete by yourself.
That's it.
And that's huge, especially when you're playing football. When you're playing in the third round, you put a cornerback on the island by themselves, they're competing by themselves. You got to match that energy. And it's the same thing in track. Nobody wants to get beat. So you got to compete.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to be embarrassed. And that's the whole thing about these kids, because everything's going to get clipped. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. If you mess up, get back up, do it again. Easier said than done for a lot of people. Well, that's just something that we just continue to build. Go compete. And if you fail, you learn from it. And
No
we'll get
doubt.
back up and do it again.
Let's talk about the 2026 season. What's the motto going into the season?
I mean, excellence. Excellence is the word that comes to mind. Our word of the week this week is vision. And we break it out on champs. We break it on state champs. It's a tall task. I don't take it for granted. People that have been doing this for a long time never make it. We have never been there. I have personally never been there. However, I believe when you have a vision for something and you have a plan for something and you're willing to work through that plan and detach the emotions from that plan and still work to the days where I don't feel like it days, you give yourself a shot. And I just want our guys to start believing in the fact that they could be more than. And they think it's about football for their right now and what they can see, absolutely. But for their future, they can be more than. A lot of people limit themselves, taking the limits off. I want them to see something way bigger than what they can see, and stop putting limits on their potential. So state champs it is. That's the highest that we can go. That's where I want to go. That's where I want to take this team, and they have to be willing to go there too. And our work will continue to show it.
No doubt. What does it take from you to win that state championship?
Just handling success well. Not taking a week for granted. I'm not. I truly am not overlooking a day. I was so excited about Tuesday that we got a chance to be together again. I think, man, there's so much stuff going on, and I think just taking these moments by moments, taking the lumps when we can, and just learning from those. But ultimately, what it takes to be a state champ is you have to beat good teams. Like when you go look at Region 3, full of great teams, state championship teams, but you can't run from competition. There's nowhere to go. You can't hide. You're not going to walk your way to state. I mean, you literally are going to have to fight when you don't feel like fighting. When you get beat down and you don't know if you can go, something in here tells you that you can. And so building that up, because that just doesn't happen overnight. And I think that's what it takes, learning from coaches in the off season, and then learning from our players on what's good and what's not, and then building that trust between each other, but ultimately a level of respect for where we want to lead as a staff and where these players want to lead us as a team. And that's what it will take.
No doubt. Malcolm, being blessed with the talent you have on that roster, how do you manage that? How do you manage having that many stars on one side of the ball?
One, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that you got good players. 'Cause, you know, good players make you look better when you're like coaching wise. Like when you got good people to do it, you look like a better coach. But like I said, I don't take it for granted. Managing it is no different than managing any other kid. You're always gonna have to check egos, but however, that's who you are. Bring it. Just bring that ego over here. Maybe we don't have to check it. I'm always willing to fight against what people say is how you should do things. I think there's a right way. I think there's more than one way to do certain things. But when we ask a kid who is a big playmaking kid to make plays and he gets upset that he didn't make plays in a game, that's his role on the team. He should be upset. That's our job. That's what we asked him to do. And so if he's not doing that, is our team really getting better? And so we're very transparent with all of our players on how we feel, the expectation in their roles. And we're okay to say that we're wrong, and we're okay to accept when we're right. We're not looking to be right. We're not looking to be wrong. We're just looking to be intentional and be here for these kids to make sure that they can get everything out of it. And so I tell you what, I'd rather be on a team that has this much talent than a team that's not. And like I said, that's why I feel like we have a good shot, but we don't want to be a team that's just known for talent. I tell them all the time, can we be a team that is known for being disciplined, doing things that we say are the right way, and being models for just grinding and just going back to work and getting back up and doing it again. And then the talent can kick in. And when that happens, I think sustained success happens. So
What is discipline and culture?
discipline and culture is kind of what you set, what you allow. Um, when I think about discipline, it's just more so what you do when you're tired, having like a certain level of like urgency consistently. So whatever your discipline is, whatever you want to, whatever you teach and whatever you're coaching, what are you harping on consistently over and over, especially when you take the emotions and the feeling and the moment out of it. Because right now, everybody's excited about the season. When you start the season, you got goals, you got aspirations. And I told our kids this day, we had kids couldn't wait for football to start. Football starts, and they like, dang, football already started. Like, hold on. We were just excited. Detach that And now we can get to the real. That's when your discipline kicks in. And then the culture is our culture built on faith. It's in the word. I just I'm just I'm here to provide an avenue. I'm here to provide a medium. So kids can understand like this ain't about me. Yes, I get to do the podcast, but I kid you not. I will always turn this attention back to the Lord and back to the coaches and these kids. That's what I do it for. And so that culture of selflessness, that culture of just being excited about what we get to do, I would never apologize for being excited. I don't have bad days. Don't believe in them. I don't want them. Like there could be tough moments. I have bad days. And so that's kind of the culture. Like we don't have bad days. We here, baby. Life is good. And even if it ain't good, speak it. Your words and your tongue have a lot of power. So that's the
No,
culture and discipline that we're talking about.
that's very very true. Malcolm, season's here. Let's talk about that week 2 game.
Okay,
What are you looking
let's talk
what are
about it.
you looking forward to seeing that in that game? It's a 6A Division One program that Hank Carter has built a lot of success. He's
Oh
won a
yeah,
lot. It's a tradition. It's a powerhouse.
oh yeah.
How is that going to set the standard for this season?
It's I'll be honest. The reason why we scheduled Round Rock and Lake Travis was to challenge ourselves as a coaching staff, to challenge our kids as a team, to see what playoff football looks like, to see what playoff football looks like at the highest level, and really for the area that we're in for Central Texas. Like, how cool is it that a team that is kind of on a rise and gets a lot of notoriety play a team that has historically been great? Coach Moore, I won't even overlook Round Rock. Like what he's done at Round Rock over the past couple years, great. Like that team is a ball team that is making the playoffs every year now. So if you want to be the best, you got to compete against the best, of course. But it's not just players; it's coaches involved too. It's communities involved too. And being in that atmosphere will be extremely great. To Lake Travis, my heart goes out to them and what they're going through right now. Definitely will continue to send prayers to them. And outside of that, and talking to Coach Carter, and I wanted to meet with him before the season. We just never got a chance to truly link up and sit down, but I'm sure we will after this season. To play that game is going to be filled with emotions. It's going to be filled with a lot of attention. If we win the game, this is truly and honestly, we win the game, oh, I'm gonna be turned up. But it's a preseason game too. If we lose the game, oh, I'm gonna be hot. However, it's a preseason game too. And we have a district opponent in Glenn that will start and make sure and ensure that we can take this thing wherever we want to take it. And so while it's a great game for the fans, it's a great game for our program. And it will continue to keep us on path. If we win it, we got to sustain success and not get our heads too big. If we lose it, we still got to remain humble and realize like, hey, there's still work to do, and that we're not the world's worst team in the world. So not too high, not too low. Get back to neutral. Let's keep going. And like I said, we'll celebrate it. Yeah, we'll get better from it, regardless of the outcome. But it'll
No,
be fun, and I hope that everybody can show up and support both teams. We'll make it happen.
no doubt. Malcolm, talk a little bit about where you come from, Dallas.
Okay.
Is there a certain swagger that football guys from Dallas carry compared to other other towns in the state of Texas? You look at the Duncanville, the DeSoto's, the South Oak Cliffs. You look at Waxahachie. You look at Denton Ryan. Is there just a standard that the greatness is all we'll take?
Yeah, I mean that's the coaches that you named and the programs that they're attached to, they've been winning. And when you continue to win, you walk around with a different level of like aura. There's all your kids know is winning. They can navigate losses, It's not earth shattering. It's not the end of the world because they find a way back. Like, okay, if they take a L, like, nah, that couldn't have been. We just gotta reset and keep doing this our way. But the swagger in Dallas, it gets a lot of attention. Um, these kids got a lot of swag out here in Central Texas. They got a lot of swag out there in Houston. But when you look at the teams that are winning, swag never changes. It's an expectation. That's how they feel. Nobody ever questions Duncanville if they're gonna make it. Like you just are surprised when they don't. North Crowley, what Ray Gates has built, and now, like, I know he's gone now, but he built something that was like, dang, like, okay, they showed up and they showed why they were meant to stay. Prosper did the same thing. That's what we're trying to do here. We don't want to just be handed anything. We want to make sure it's built to last. And so when we walk around the way we walk, it's not because we think we're better than. It's because we prepare for this. Like this wasn't a preparation for overnight. This was a preparation that can be sustained for a long time.
And like what you said right there, like so many people get wrapped up in state championships. I don't think people realize how hard it is to make a consistent playoff run every year.
Lee, man, it's wild. Again, there's only a few teams winning state every year, and even out of that, think about how long some of these coaches have been coaching, and they will hold up four, and people be like, "Oh, you only won four. You crazy? You know how hard it is to win. You gotta have health. You know, you gotta have some quality lucky breaks. Kids gotta be locked in. These kids are 18, 15, some 14, 14 to 18. And you just hope. And then you gotta rely on scout teams when it's Thanksgiving. And you hope that you get a scout team to show up. But that's a part of building it. And that's something that people don't understand. It is so much more off the field than it is on the field. Getting to the game each week. We're asking kids to play 16 games, go 17 weeks of in season to do it. That's an NFL schedule. To stay locked in that long over essentially a few breaks and then stay locked in school, man. But that's fun to me.
It's what you signed up for.
Bro, I want to do that every year. And I'm never gonna scoff at it. So shout out to all the guys that have done it. I'm just trying to get on board.
I had a head coach tell me on the podcast one time, he goes, people think that stars and, having the best athletes win state championships. And he goes, you flat out got to get lucky.
Man, you better have some program kids that believe. Think about it. Half, more than half, over half, 90% of your roster is not going to college. When I say program kids, people that know they don't want to play, that will lay it on the line.
Do the role.
Like, hey, coach, I do not want to play in college. However, I'm going to go hard for you right now. The end, I know, has nothing to do with football, but this experience means the most to me
It
because the
takes a
people
mature
mean the
kid to
most.
realize that.
Like, come on. And it takes mature parents to understand that too. And that's what people don't like. The community has to be on board. If you polled state championship communities, what would they say? Bought in. They don't. I mean, if you ask, it's there. Kids showing up on time. I promise it's going to be the same. There has to be a level of consistency that doesn't have to do with just football. Everything else. It takes a village.
In a program that has not been able to get it done in the past few years, South Lake Carroll Dragons, if you look at what they bring to each game, like when they play Jinx at the Cotton Bowl, that's going to be a college football atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
Like they are going to show up. Like when who was that they played the playoffs this year and they didn't start, like they didn't kick off till like 1 o'clock in the morning? Prosper.
Yep.
How many Dragon fans you think considered going home?
They probably thought about it like, dang, it's getting late. Is this game gonna get canceled? They were never gonna leave.
No, because it's part of it's part of their lives.
It's a moment. Absolutely.
It's like this Friday we play Longview.
Oh yeah.
I don't think people realize how big of a moment that is. It's the last game at Abe Martin. You're playing. It's the last time you'll play Longview at Abe Martin at that stadium. That's a Texas high school football staple right there.
Yep.
But you have to have a bought in community.
Crazy, man.
Like you have to be bought in. Like you just don't wake up and win championships. It starts at like Coach Absett talks about this all the time. It starts with the community. It starts with the parents. It starts with your booster club. It starts with your trainers, your scout team. How important is it to have a good scout team? I got to get a look.
No doubt. I mean, when you think about, like I said, when you think about the scout team, when you think about the parents and the moms that help, bro, we got tremendous parents that do it. We're gonna get better at it. So shout out to all my parents that's doing the work. But and that's why the reinforcement of the kids, and this is where I'm preaching to myself where I got to get better. I have to really be intentional about thanking these kids and not just saying thank you for showing up and it's good. Thank you. Hey, here, you get to go get a meal. Like, nah, fellas, like I really appreciate y'all. I'll sit down, chop it up with you. You cool too. And varsity gets all the notoriety. JV really runs the boat. If they don't want to show up and go through those dots, they don't go over anything that we do offensively or defensively. There's somebody different every week. It's a tough job. It's a selfless job,
But
but it has to get done.
it wins games.
It does. And I kid you not, I think that's why you see some of the same teams make the same runs. Obviously, they have really good players and really good coaches, but again, the community is far more important than what people think.
And that's why all the talk on social media needs to stop. Texas high school football will never go away.
Nah,
It will never go
I hope
away.
not.
Just because some
Dude, I hope
people,
not.
just because a few choose to do otherwise, doesn't mean that it's going to stop what's going on in the state of Texas. Like I was listening to the J Dub podcast the other night, the Dub podcast, and you got to take into consideration the city is completely different than the country. When you go through these small towns in East Texas on Friday night,
Man,
if you want to know where everybody's at, it's gonna be at a ball game.
absolutely.
Coach Hill, I'm gonna let you get out of here in a few seconds. I got one more question for you. How has the wet bulb affected you?
It don't affect us, baby. We up with Jesus and the disciples early in the morning. We get it and get it going. I like practicing. I'm a morning person. But I think again, this is talk about adapting and changing. If you want to get practice in, you better practice in the morning. Because if not, this Texas heat ain't no joke. And I'm wearing this, whether it's cold or hot outside. And I tell my kids, I'm like, Coach, you ain't sweating? No, I'm just cool like that. Cool thoughts. But the wet, like I said, it doesn't really affect us. I think it can become an issue, but only if you allow it to. I know some people are not able to practice in the morning due to whatever circumstance or reason, so you got to move it late. However, whatever's best for your kids and your program, that's what you do. It just happens to be in the morning for us. And I'm, like I said, thankful for an administration who believes in the same.
No doubt. Coach Hill, last thing, and we'll let you get out of here. What does shows like Live from the Pines and all these other podcasts and sport media programs that are involved with Texas high school football, what is the benefit of that?
They keep it alive. You get to get good coaches and different perspectives from all over the state who believe in their programs and their communities. They do a lot of good things. I mean, you've had some of the best coaches, what I say, in the world continue to be on here. Coaches that have gone on from high school to college, coaches that have won multiple state championships, made multiple deep runs in the playoffs, or some of the best coaching jobs are being done, and those teams are going 5-5. and they are getting the most out of their kids. So shout out to all the coaches, shout out to Live from the Ponds that will just continue to highlight everything that we just continue to do. So much love to the coaching fraternity, and much love to you guys for highlighting.
Malcolm, thank you for all the kind words. We appreciate you. You know, we'll be
Absolutely.
in touch throughout the season. Want to
No
give a big
doubt.
shout out to the Pflugerville Weiss Wolves, the 2026-2027 season. We'll
Yes, sir.
say there's only 1 week I will not be rooting for the Wolves. If that's luck is on the schedule. You know, we see y'all in the
No doubt.
playoffs. You know, it's enemy territory. You know, we
No doubt. No doubt.
cross
So,
sidelines for each other, baby.
I got it. Go, Pat. Appreciate you, Jake.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Be on the lookout. Live from the Ponds is back. We will be recording weekly. Going to try to get a schedule out soon and get some good coaches back on here. Definitely bringing some coaches from the past back on, but always looking for new coaches. If you got anybody out there you think we should bring on, please comment. Send them our way. We'd love to interview them. Thank you, Coach Hill.
Bless him, my brother.